AGI is coming sooner than anyone thinks, sooner than the experts predict, sooner than you might even think, because it's coming this year. So, what is AGI? Well, AGI is artificial general intelligence. And that statement has been so overused and widespread that it's really difficult to understand what artificial general intelligence means, because the implication is that it's roughly as smart as a human. Well, we already know from GPT 3.5 that in many tasks it can think and process better than a human. It could even come up with correct answers that a human can't. So why is it not AGI? Well, that's because AGI, in its general definition, is missing a component. And that component is the ability for AI to interact with the real world. Now, we find that important because you could be an absolutely genius mind, but if you're unable to articulate your thoughts into the real world, if you are unable to interact with things in the real world, then it doesn't matter how much you are of a genius, no one will ever know. And that's a Stephen Hawking problem, where the only way people could actually see his true genius is when he was actually hooked up to a machine that could interpret his thoughts and actually speak it out. And that's the problem we now face with AI, and that the LLMs, like OpenAI, are brains in boxes. Now, brains in boxes can do a lot of work, yes. But right now, we've only experienced the most rudimentary ways of getting that information out of the brain box. It's very Stephen Hawking like, where you talk to it and it spits a result out. But its inability to actually do things beyond that is what really limits it from becoming AGI. So, why do I think that we're going to get AGI this year? Well, right now, there are startups, including the one I work at, that are building the neural system, the nerves. We are building the interconnects between the muscles, which is software that you use every day, applications that you use on the web every day, and the brain in the box, which allows the brain in the box, when properly trained to use these neurons, to interact with all these muscles composing a digital body. So when you ask it, hey, I need to do X, Y, and Z task, and I need to do it here, it can not only understand what you're doing, it could also pre route where you're going, and it could even order an Uber for you. Now, we've already seen some version of this limited neurological system with Rabbit at CES, where they asked Rabbit, hey, I want to go from A to B. It said, certainly. It planned out a route, and then it also booked the Uber to do that. And you didn't have to really log in. That feature, that functionality, that economic impact is coming this year. And when you have the ability to open your phone or get on your computer and you say, hey, I need this done to move data from here to here. Can you do it for me? And the AI says, yes. It generates the code and then it actually connects those two services together. That's when you'll see an absolute explosion of AGI you have not even dreamed of, and the way it will impact our ability to go about our day to day lives. It will be as impactful as the iPhone was to the way we operate today as opposed to pre iPhone. Now, was there things before the iPhone? Oh, absolutely. There was a Windows Phone, there was all that. But the way people used and interact things with an app store, with the ability to have a secured walled garden where they're able to get this information down, to have it connected to different services. That's where the iPhone really changed things to where now, for some people, it's their complete computer, where they never need to actually get on a desktop because they're able to do everything from their phone. That's where I think AI is headed. That once you connect that brain in the box with its nervous system to every other service out there, Even if the service doesn't have an API, the fact that the AI will be able to use its own vision to understand what it's seeing and then be able to connect and engage with that using a web browser just like everyone else, then you will see a massive explosion in creativity. And that's where we're headed. And that's why we'll have AGI this year. So, is the world ready for that? Absolutely not. But is it coming nonetheless? Yes, it is. That's my take. I'll see you in the next week.